Morning, it's Tuesday. I think it's the 6th of April. I've got my coat on, it's a bit chilly this morning. It's only about 5 degrees in the polytunnel. I think that it's about 8 o'clock or something. Oh, it's coming up to 6 degrees in the polytunnel. Sorry, it's a bit chilly. Coming up 6 degrees in the polytunnel at 8 in the morning. It's very dewy and very wet in here. A lot of condensation. Other people are having snow and that. I brought you in because I wanted to have a quick chat. In a lot of my videos you'll notice that I mention and I point out this air vent at the back. The air vent at the back that when I advertise on Facebook and that, I quite often have the air vent on the advertisement, and the photograph that I use is the one at 4:01 PM when we just about finished putting the air vent on the back of the polytunnel on the 28th of May 2018. And it's kind of poignant because it was at 4:01. There's photographs throughout the whole of that day in 2018. If you have to go back through all my photographs to be able to see it. And it's in the photos May 2018, June 2018. And there's a May, June, and there's a day that my mum died. And you should have a look at all of these. But the one that I keep putting on that's at 4:01 PM on the 28th of May, where I'm doing the polytunnel and I've done the air vent. There's no skin on the polytunnel, no plastic on it. It's just the air vent, and I've done the framework at the bottom on the 27th and 28th. We did all the wooden frame. I was trying to get it ready to get all the frames done so that when I had help coming in to help me, I could put the skin on like on the 31st or whatever it was of June, and I had dates all sort of set in to do these things and put the doors on and all that sort of thing. But on the 28th of May, I did the timber frame on the bottom, and I did the air vent on the back, and I had help with the air vent, and my friend came and helped me to put the air vent on. And at 4:01 PM, which is when the photograph is that I use for advertising, but at 4:01 PM I was here and I took the photograph of the polytunnel, and in the photograph it's got a picture of my van at the end of the polytunnel, and it's the van that I would use if I was going to drive anywhere, but I couldn't because I was here, as I say, at 4:01. Now, all the hospital, the reason I keep on going on about it is that all the hospital paperwork, all the hospital records and everything, they say that my mum died on the 28th of May at 4:15. She didn't. She died on the 24th of May at 4:15. Well, she was dead at 4:15 when I went in and saw her. On the 24th of May, I had a phone call from my father to say that my mum was in the hospital. I'd already known she'd had an operation to fix a broken hip. It was very strange. All of this is just balmy. It's just weird, all right? But I'm just going to tell you because I find it very strange and something weird's going on. Nobody's doing anything about it. So I'm just going to tell all you. So if you'll have to look on the 24th, there's a thing I put on, and it's on the 24th, the day my mum died. And I've put on it because I had this weird experience with this little orb thing. This little orb thing that flew around my field, and it was very weird indeed. On the 24th, I'd had a phone call from my dad to say go into the hospital to say goodbye to your mum. So I drove all the way over there. I left as soon as I could, and I drove over, and my mum had already passed away. And the nurses, when I got there, they showed me through a side room where my mum's body was and said, I'm sorry, but you've already missed her. She's already passed. I was really upset, really upset. So I went into this little side room up and over to the left or something, and she was in there and she was dead. And she looked, I didn't know what your mum's supposed to look like. I don't know why I'm sharing this with all of you, but I'm going to share it with all of you. She looked like this. She looked like her hands were clawed and she looked quite cross. I went in and said goodbye to my mum, and I was there for a bit and just, not for very long, just said my goodbyes. And when I came out, the manager, who I know of the ward that my mum was on, the manager came out and she said, she tried to stop me and tried to talk to me, and I didn't want to talk to her because I just lost my mum. I was so upset, so upset. So I didn't want to talk to her. So I just kind of ran away. Later on, she was very kind and she sent me a message on Facebook, on Messenger. I think it was the first time she'd ever spoken to me on Messenger. But she sent me a message and it said, just to say how sorry I was to see you so upset. And I thought, that's nice, isn't it? So I sent her a message back on the same day, on the 24th, to say I was doing all I could to hold it together because I just lost my mum. Because I had. And it was just really sad. This is on the 24th. And I was back in my field probably by 5:30 or something like that. Oh, no. Yeah, probably 5:30, 5:45 or something. That's where I had. This is where I had my experience with the little orb thing. And again, the photographs are on YouTube of the little orb thing on the 24th of May in the field. And the little orb thing is just weird. I can't explain it to this day. There is a video on there. I still couldn't explain it. It was looked like, you know, when you look up in between trees and you see that light flickering through, like those little dots up there, like it was like that. But it was so bright. It was so bright and shiny. It was like a little, I don't know. It's like a keyhole, like a tiny little snowman floating but flapping its wings. It looked like the angel on top of a Christmas tree, but in a tiny little, like this, like I don't know, like that big. But it was so shiny bright. It was like, God, it's so hard to explain. It was whiter than white. It was like a bluey white. It had a, I don't know, it was shiny. The photographs are on there. It was really weird, but it was this little orb thing, and it flew around a field, and it was up in the trees, and then it flew down, and it flew right up to me, and it got like right up close like this, and then it kind of, and when it flew up close, I kind of felt this feeling of dread, and then I don't know how to explain it. Happiness, all different feelings I got, but from this little weird thing that was flying up to me. It was ever so strange. That was on the 24th. That was the day that my mum died. And yet, this is just the weirdest thing. All of the hospital records, everything says that my mum died on the 28th. Now, if we go back, and as I said, the photograph at 4:01 p.m. that I was here in the field on the 28th, I mean, and I know the day that my mum died because I was there and I saw a dead body. So why does all the hospital paperwork, why does everything say that she died on the 28th of May at 4:15 p.m? See, to me, it's baffling. I don't understand why everything says that. I didn't notice at the time because I suppose I was so upset. But the hospital paperwork is wrong. I don't understand. I've gone through all the hospital paperwork with a friend of mine who's a nurse. She's very high up as a nurse as well. So I went through all the hospital paperwork, and the hospital paperwork says she went in on a date that she didn't go. She went in on the 19th of May 2018, and she died on the 24th of May 2018, and yet it says she went in on the 14th and died on the 28th. Well, that's weird, isn't it? Because I was there. I was there with my mum all of the time. I was there the day that we took her into the hospital, and I was there the day that my mum died. And yet those dates are not the same as the dates on the hospital records or any of it. So this is me in my field of greens, in my polytunnel, next to my air vent. Not air vent. So I'm here, the air vent that we put on the 28th of May at 4:01 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm just going to show you. It's kind of an important, the fact that the photograph is here. This is the air vent, alright? I'm just going to try and prop you up. Just see if, I don't know what I can do with this. Can you see this? Brilliant. I made this. Yeah, it's a bit lit. let's see, show you. You can see it going up. Now, this is the air vent. It's this full 60 foot of the polytunnel. I am very proud of it. I'm very proud of the fact that we put it up on the 28th of May 2018. I just opened it in here and it's bloody freezing. It's not bloody freezing, but it's not that warm. We put it on the 28th of May 2018 and I was in my field at 4:01 p.m. This is to the hospital. If you're listening to this, Mr. and Mrs. Hospital people, at 4:01 p.m. I was in my field and I was putting the air vent on my polytunnel. It wasn't the day that my mum died. My mum died on the 24th. You need to get your hospital paperwork right. This is why I'm putting it on here now. So, if all you lovely people who follow me want to go back to my photographs that I found on the camera that I found from 2018, it's got all the photographs on. In my Facebook account, I just want to point this out as well. In my Facebook account, all the photographs were changed. I wanted to do the YouTube channel, right? And I wanted all the photographs to go onto the YouTube channel and all the videos and that. And as I say in another video, a lot of my stuff was hacked and a lot of things were deleted. And that's very odd. Don't you think it's very odd? It's very odd. As I say, lots of things were deleted, but all my photographs, all the dates were changed on my Facebook account and everything was pushed forward to the 11th of June. All of my photographs, if any of you who are my friends would like to go onto my Facebook, you can have a look at my Facebook account. If you go back through all the pictures, you'll see that a lot of the photos are pushed forward to June the 11th. And it's got the date of June the 11th on it. And in fact, I think I've shared it with people on there. But just have a look through my stuff and you'll see. June the 11th was, I don't know, like a week after I'd finished building the polytunnel, putting the skin on, putting the doors on, all that sort of thing. Again, if you go through my photos, I don't mean to keep going on about this, but this is just so weird that the hospital records, the coroner's report, everything says that my mum died on the 28th of May. And she didn't, she died on the 24th of May. The only thing that doesn't say that she died on the 28th is the mortuary witness statement form. And on the mortuary witness statement form, I've got it. And I got my friend who's a nurse to read it to me. Different nurse this time, because I thought, you know, give everyone a try. So the nurse that helped me and came and read it, she said, it says that your mum died at 3:25 p.m. That's weird, because that's what time my dad rang me. On the 24th of May 2018, and then there's a date underneath, and it was a date that my mum's body was released, I presume, to the coroners or whatever it was, which is the 29th actually. But it's very odd. I just want to point all these things out because I've asked the hospital about 1 million times. I've asked every single department. I've asked the coroner's office, I've asked all the different departments in the hospital. There's a very nice man, his name begins with B and he works for the hospital, and he tried to help and he started looking into it, but for some reason, it's because I rang up and I kept on going on about it, but they stopped looking into it. But what I'd like you, the hospital, to do is carry on and look into it, because to me, it's very weird that my mum died on the 24th and yet everything says that she died on the 28th, and yet I have a photograph of me here at 4:01 p.m. in the afternoon doing this air vent, which I've just showed you, and it's a very nice air vent, by the way. But at 4:01 p.m. in the afternoon on 28th of May 2018, this is where I was and this is what I was doing. I was fixing that air vent, I was building it. Mum didn't die on the 28th, she died on the 24th. I'd like the hospital, if you're listening, to look into this and just to tell me, you know, if she did, I don't know how you were looking after my mum on the 28th, because she was already dead. She died on the 24th. She'd been dead for 4 days. You should really look at this. It's very weird. This is going to go out today. So if you, the general public, who are my friends and things, do want to look through all this stuff, go onto my Facebook page and go through all my photos. But if you go back, I mean, it's the whole thing. The idea of starting the field and showing people how to grow leafy greens and salads on an aquaponics system that I built out of bathtubs was there anyway, and the idea was so that I could show people and have all the photographs from all the way through. And if I hadn't found my phone from the time, I wouldn't have had that, because whoever hacked my accounts, they deleted all my photos and they changed all the dates. And people think, well, that's weird, isn't it? Why would someone do that? Well, I wonder why someone would do that if they were trying to change the date of my mum's death to the 28th of May 2018. She died on the 24th. I can't keep going on about this enough, but this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to just put it on here. I have actually written a book, and I know that sounds, wow, Ian, that's very grown up and very whatever. I wrote the book because of the fact that not a lot of this makes sense to me. I will be publishing the book as well on YouTube, and I'm sure lots of people would love to read it. I might put some extracts in just for the hospital and just send it to them to start off with, just to give you a little kick in the bum. You know, perhaps you could just have a look into this and see why your hospital paperwork says that mum died on the 28th and yet she died on the 24th. I really would like you to look into this. I'm not going to keep going on about this. I'm sure everybody else in the world who knew my mum was brilliant. She died on the 24th of May 2018, and your hospital record says she died on the 28th of May 2018. The last time I spoke to a lady in the hospital, she said, we don't make mistakes. Well, I'm not sorry to tell you this, lady, but you do make mistakes. You made a massive mistake, and you put down that my mum died on the 28th of May at 4:15. Now, I was here, in this field, building this thing. There wasn't all this on, but I was building that air vent at 4:01 p.m. And at 4:01 p.m, being here in Sidmouth, it's 45 minutes from Exeter. There's no way I'd have made it. I don't have a magic carpet. I can't fly there. You can't do it in 15 minutes. My van's a van. It's not a Lamborghini or something like that. It's just a van. Could you please have a look into this? This is the last time I'm going to be going on about this, and I will be just publishing the book on my other YouTube channel, so I do hope you all enjoy that. Yeah, anyway, oh, thanks man beginning with B in the hospital who tried to help. What a brilliant, what a star. I've got to say, there's some lovely people. I mean, the hospital themselves, because we've gone through a pandemic, everyone stands, they beat pans, they shout, they cheer, all that sort of thing. I was doing that, you know, for all the people. My friend, who's the manager of the ward that my mum died on, that came out on the day that my mum died and tried to talk to me, she's fucking brilliant. She's, all of you healthcare workers, hospital workers, nurses, doctors, all of you are doing a fantastic job, and the public, appreciate you just do an amazing job. I really do. I'm not having a go at you. I'm not having a go at the hospital. I'm just saying to the hospital, just do what your job's supposed to be. The ones that are in admin and the ones that are supposed to be helping and the ones that are supposed to be looking into it, do your job and just look into it. Mum was there on the 19th of May 2018 until the 24th of May 2018. Those are the only dates she was there. All the other dates, don't know why they're there. It's just weird, isn't it? Check it all out. Anyway, you have to go back to 2018 for anyone that wants to just look at all this and look at the pictures and all that sort of thing, all timed and dated from the camera that I found in 2018. Hope you're all well. Nice one. Take care. Cheers.